Hi. Okay, so as I'm talking about the different traits of, these are toxic traits, right? Toxic, very, very toxic traits in relationships, in any type of relationship. This could be a work relationship. This could be a, marriage relationship or something. It could be, family dynamics or whatever. But it's basically, relationships, right? Okay, and these are things that you need to you have to get versed on them, right? So you can quickly identify, or as quick as possible be able to identify when somebody is presenting toxicity to you, or a level of toxic traits, right? And they may or may not actually be a narcissist, but these are traits of narcissists. Okay, so one of them is a smear campaign, what they call a smear campaign. So a smear campaign is basically when the narcissist realize that they're losing control of their person or the situation, and they might risk looking like the bad person now, or they might risk other people judging them harshly, right? And they're scared. See, they care about what other people think. They care more about what other people think, right? So what they'll do is they will run ahead of you or whatever and try to start telling all your friends about you to create their narrative of what happened or whatever, right? To make themselves look better or appear like an angel or like it's not their fault or whatever. So it's called a smear campaign, and they'll try to run ahead. So I'm going to give you an example of this, right? Let's say I am married, okay? And I decide I want to divorce my husband. Right? When I say I decide, let's say, unbeknownst to others, I might have actually been wrestling this idea or talking about this or thinking about this with my husband for many years. It might have actually been like 5 years or something, or way a lot longer than I've ever let on to anybody else, right? But when I finally decide to execute, and we're going to do this now, we're not going to stay married or whatever. I don't want to stay married, and we agreed to this or whatever, but he really does want to stay married, or at least wants benefits of being married, right? He might even agree, like, yeah, we're not really the best together, but I don't like the way it looks if we get divorced. I mean, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? And he's over here thinking about all that. Whereas with me, I've already decided, in my heart, like, okay, the life that I am living with this person does not actually present, and is not actually more than just not fulfilling. Like, my health might be being affected. I might, feel like this is truly not my for my highest good for many, many, many reasons, right? And but nonetheless, out of respect for another human being, right? Like, you have to allow people the freedom to just to make their decisions, to come into your life or leave your life or whatever. Like, even if it's not what you want, right? But let's say that my husband, who doesn't like the idea of separating, or at least not like that, or the way that it's going to look or whatever, decides to run ahead of me, let's say, before I tell friends and family, or my friends and family, or even before the divorce happens, let me conjure up, or he might think I'm going to go ahead and share my side of the story, or try to paint it to look a certain way to, my friends and family, my mother, or, my father, or whatever, my sister, or something like that. Like, hey, this is what really happened, or whatever, or this is what happened, and this is what happened. No matter what she says to you, I want you to think like this, or whatever. Or, let me give you, I have a really good example to give you. You could be, let's say, something, let's say you don't want something to happen in your family, or you don't want your son to have any kind of connection with you. Let's say you're a mother, a narcissistic mother, and you favor one woman for your son over another woman, and he might favor the one that you don't. That could be. And she might say, oh, you know what? Let me create a smear campaign to try to distract this one over here from, wanting to be with him or whatever. So that way I get what I want, which is, control over, the situation, right? So that narcissistic mother might come up with some sort of smear campaign, like, my son is horrible. He is lazy. He is a whore. He can't, hold down a house, or, this, that, and a third. And I'm his mother. I'm his mother, and I feel that way. And you should think twice. You should never want to be with him. You shouldn't want to be with him. He's a liar. He is such a liar. And see, again, I know because of the way that I look, especially when I don't have no makeup on or anything, I can look like a child. I mean, I've been told that I look like a child. And I know I must look like I have stupid written across my forehead. And so I just, yeah. I just let people go on. Because to me, I'm saying, you show me your hand. You are showing me the kind of person and how you show up in life. When you don't get your way, when you don't get the outcome that you want, or you don't like something or whatever, you create smear campaigns. I know that in itself is it's a tactic of narcissism, which is a spirit of the devil. So you've just shown me part of your true colors, right? Because see, if a person is walking in truth, they should have the truth will set you free. So if the truth is that her son is a liar or whore or this or that, okay, the truth will speak for itself. I won't need her or anybody else to, the truth will speak for itself. I won't need a smear campaign. I'll be able to see it. Because the truth will set you free. It's the same thing in high school. Like, let's say when you're in high school and, we've all experienced these types of things, as girls or whatever. And it's like, this one boy might, dump his one girlfriend because he sees somebody else over here that he wants to be with. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying it was good for him to do that. But again, everybody has free will. They do whatever they want to do. And he makes mention or gets back to her that he dumped her because he really wants to go date Sally over there, or the new girl that just came from, wherever, California, whatever. She's the hot thing, and that's where he wants to go, right? So she gets wind of it. So she's like, well, Sally over here is brand new. She don't know who is who here. So I'm going to go be friends with Sally. Let me go be friends with her. She doesn't even know that I was ever dating this guy who, she doesn't know. And I'm going to give her the tea and tell her how bad he is. But her intent is jealousy. Is one of jealousy and one of like, oh no, I'm going to go and fumble his plans. Right? Immature. Insecure. See, when you get older, when you become mature, when you become a woman of God, those high school type of techniques and things, first of all, God tells me things that I need to know. God tells me. He flat out tells me, right? Like, he will let me know. It's like I will see the devil. Like I will see this. Okay? That's number one. Number two, when you can look at a person's motivation, and you can look at their intentions, and you can kind of tell, okay, this person is jealous, or this person is, or when that girl finds out that this girl over here who's her friend now, or whatever, she finds out from somebody else that those two used to date, oh, she's going to feel, oh, wow, she was really betraying me. Oh, now I see why she spoke so bad of him. Okay, she really doesn't have my back, right? But again, when you're mature, right, and especially, and let me say, when I say mature doesn't have anything to do with your age. When you have gained wisdom through experiences, okay, it's your life experiences that you have gone through. And see, you never know what a person has actually gone through. You don't know the experiences behind a person. They might look one way, and this is why I'm always saying, people prejudge me. They prejudge me all the time. There are a lot of people here in my current life, right, who never knew the Melinda I was prior to my husband dying. That Melinda was a very strong woman. That Melinda, she had her ups and downs. She was bossy. She was very headstrong. She went after the things that she went for, and she didn't let nobody, push her over by any means. Okay? Then Melinda went through some serious grief and has gone through a very long transformative process. Okay? And has also been transformed by God's hand. And continues every day through prayer, right? To work on myself. But eventually, your true self starts to come back. But now you are just like fine wine, right? You have been refined by God's hand, by Holy Spirit. So you are a way more, you are a better version, right? You have the wisdom now to back what you're trying to do. And you no longer have to prove anything to nobody. And you don't have to scream, hit, bite your way anywhere. Okay? Because you've learned that those things don't actually get you what you want. If anything, they push the person away. I see this all the time with women. And I try to tell them, okay, he's cheating on you. He's over there because it's more comfortable. I mean, there are times that men are just straight up whores, and that definitely for sure happens. It absolutely for sure. But the thing that I've heard men say this. I've literally heard men say this from their own mouth. They don't sleep with somebody over and over and over and over and over again and do things with them, go out with them, be whatever, because they don't like them or because they think they're just a prostitute. Okay. And I've had women like, oh, he's cheated on me so many times or whatever. Okay, he's having a relationship over there. It's because that's where he wants to be. And I have experienced a situation in my relationship with Travis specifically. And when we had our situation, I'm telling you exactly how I reacted. I opened the door. And I said, if that's where you want to be, you have my blessing. And I was young and I was immature. I hadn't even gone through nothing near what I've gone through. I just have always been a person that's like, you know what? Men are a dime a dozen. You continue to work on yourself. You continue to work on the person that you are. And you put good love out. Good love comes back to you. That's just what it is. Okay? And God will send you the right person. That's how I feel even right now. I didn't have to deal with that recently. I'm not necessarily dealing with that right now by any means. But the point is that I am not concerned about love. And in a relationship, I'm not concerned about love because if I'm disrespected, it's goodbye. It's just that fast. If it's different if it's if you're dealing with lies or something, or somebody just says something. But if you know for a fact that your man has had a relationship, a continuous long-term relationship with somebody, honey, open the door and let him go. Because he clearly, that's where he wants to be. You can't control a man's heart. And I'm saying a man because I'm a female. But I'm saying this is vice versa. If you are a man, you can't control her heart. You can't control anybody's heart. You might be able to control their actions for a little while. You might think you got them trapped for a little while for whatever narcissistic controlling thing that you've done to try to control them, right? Maybe you have kids with that person, or maybe you specifically even tried to get pregnant or did get pregnant specifically to trap them so they will stay with you, right? But again, if you have a man that is consistently over there wanting to be with her or whatever, it don't matter how many kids they have with you or whatever, his heart is over there. And see, it's like Jehovah. Jehovah doesn't want anybody to serve him like a robotic kind of forced way. Jehovah's like, don't even do it. I don't want you to, if you're not going to love me and serve me correctly, the way that I'm asking, whatever, then don't do it. And he's not going to, he gives us free will. Literally, he gives us free will because he wants us to trust him. If we just served him out of force, we wouldn't trust him. There would be no trust. There would be no such thing as faith, right? So it's like, if I have a man that is like, I don't care if I got 12 kids with a man, I've said this before, and I absolutely mean this. I promise you I mean this. I don't care how many children I have with a man. I could care less. If he decides to step out, go over there, or whatever, the door's open. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because I'm not going to wrestle with somebody's heart. I'm not going to do that. I don't even want robotic, fake, unfeeling love. I absolutely do not want that in my life. I don't even speak that over me. If somebody wants to leave, you let them leave, right? You can't be controlling. You can't slap your way out of that situation. You can't slap love out of somebody's heart. You can't slap love out of their mind. If that man has truly fallen in love with somebody else, let him go. And if he's just being a whore or whatever, that truth will come out at some point as well. In fact, the truth will be known when you address the issue and he stops or he doesn't. Okay? And that's if you choose to take him back. Okay? So this is where, you know, when someone, my mom used to always say that if you want to know what a person's true colors are, see how they act when they're under pressure, right? Or when they get dropped into boiled water. It's just like a tea bag. Just like a tea bag. You might not know the name of that particular tea. You might not be able to tell because the herbs are in there. You just can't tell. Maybe the label has been taken off or whatever. And you're not sure what it is until when? Until you drop them into hot water. And it becomes tea. And then you can taste it and you can kind of see, is this a bitter tea? Is this like a sweet tea? Like, what kind of tea is this? You know, is it green tea? Is it chamomile tea? You know, whatever, right? It's the same thing when they say like an egg. Same thing. A hard-boiled egg is literally made when? In boiling water. The outside of the shell looks the same, right? You can't tell by just looking at the egg, two different eggs, which one has been boiled and which one's not. Unless there's a crack in it, you know, I'm not talking about that. Like, just, you know, if it's a regular cooked, right? So the point of that is that, you know, you can't tell until you put them in hot water and then they're able to open up and you're able to see what's on the inside, right? So when somebody is under pressure or when somebody goes through trials or tribulations or they are in a situation that they don't like to be in, they don't want to be in, right? Or your husband is acting a fool or your wife is acting a fool. Here's the pressure. Now look at the behavior. That behavior, that controlling, narcissistic, biting, screaming, yelling, cursing, whatever, all of those traits are a very immature person when it is lacking Holy Spirit. Okay? And then it's up to you to decide once you see the results or once you see what you're actually dealing with, then it's up to you to decide what you're going to deal with. What kind of life do you want? Do you want a life of peace and joy? Do you want a life of constant, smear campaigns, tactics, manipulation, control? Oh my God, I know women who will put tracking devices on their men's phone. You see it all the time. First of all, you see it all the time on Amazon on Instagram talking about, let's track your man's phone and see where No, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. No. That's not a life for me. First of all, my God will tell me when I need to know something about somebody, he will let me know. I will know. Not only will my spidey senses go off, but I will also be able to hear. I will be able to tell, right? I don't need no tracking device. I don't care where he's at. Okay, again, I'm going to open the front door and be like, go right over there. You can stay right over there. And I'm not tracking your phone. I am not. No, I don't have time for that. I do not have time. I have bigger fish to fry? No, I'm not wasting time or spending time trying to track some man's phones or where his whereabouts are or whatever. I'm going to know by the way he's treating me. I'm going to know by how much, quality time is my love language. So if I'm not even getting quality time, his attention is somewhere else, you can tell. I mean, come on. We're a woman. We have spidey senses. You can tell when a man wants to be with you and when he doesn't. Let's just keep it real. Being obviously a woman who's, and I'm talking to adult women here, you can tell when your man wants to be with you and when he doesn't. You can see it very plain and clear as day, if that man wants to be with you or not. And unless there are medical conditions that are affecting him, which could be, okay? But you can also see in their eyes, you can tell when a person wants to be with you and when they don't. When they miss you, just because they had to work a long day, and you guys had to be apart from each other, but you can tell by the person when you see them again, like if there was a longing for each other, right? Okay, so I don't need no tracking device. If my husband's heart, mind, intentions are somewhere else, I'm going to be able to see that, and I'm going to release him with love, a lot of love. See, the thing that I can be sure about myself now, especially the woman that I am today, who has come out of many trials and tribulations, but I've always kind of been this way. I know I've always been a very passionate person, a very loving person. I love hard, and, I can be very territorial and all those things, right? But what I do know is that my treatment and the way I treat you or somebody, or whoever I'm with or whatever, is good. I already know that. I don't question. None of my past relationships since my husband has died, none of the past relationships that I've been with have I questioned the treatment that I gave them. And I'm the one that walked away. I'm the one that it's like, okay, this treatment is not acceptable for me. So after many tries or whatever, it's like, okay, three strikes, you're out. Okay, like it's just not gonna work, right? So but I can leave with a clear conscience, knowing that I've treated that person very well. They've gotten good treatment. So if my treatment wasn't enough to either evoke the change that I needed them to make, or evoke them to want to stay and keep their penis in their pants, with me or whatever, like if that wasn't the case, but let's just say it was, then I'm going to just assume that I'm not the right person for them. They have a better love somewhere else. They can go get better love somewhere else. Everybody is not made for everybody. I don't want to be everybody's cup of tea. I don't want to be every man's dream. I mean, I might be a lot of man's dreams, but I don't want to, because I can't even maintain that many. I can't maintain more than one person anyway. I personally cannot. I know what I can do, but I know, I already know this. So if I'm not the right person for you or for the person I'm with or whatever, then bye. First of all, I felt like I had a really good love with Travis, but I always said, like, wow, if I get to experience love again, I'll feel very fortunate at this point, and I have experienced good loves. I've had good loves and good loving moments and stuff like that, so I feel very fortunate, but I also know I put good love out. I have worked on myself enough to know, like, how to show up in a relationship where that man is going to feel loved, respected, admired, whatever they need. Now, if I feel that my love style doesn't match up appropriately with that man, even at our best, like even at my best, it doesn't match up. Like, again, my dreams or the, what I do in the day or whatever, like this is not matching up, then I'm going to be truthful about it and be like, okay, we're just not a good match. We're just not a good match, because I'm not going to change who I am, primarily as far as my values and things like that. And if my values are going to misalign, there is no amount of kicking, smacking, biting, screaming, or GPSing and following and trying to limit him that's going to make the alignment of our marriage or union any better. It is just not going to happen. You're literally trying to, force a square block into a circle hole, like in a toy. Like, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. And you're literally going to drive yourself crazy, and you're literally going to be tired and be mentally drained, and not be able to live your best life, not be able to go out there and do the things that were really meant for you to do. Okay? Because everybody, the Bible says everybody's been given a gift. Everybody. At least one gift. Some people have more than one, right? I always pray to Jehovah that in the new world I would like to have the gift of voice, of singing, because I would like to be able to sing, because I certainly cannot sing. And my mother says the same thing. But we both are like, I wish I could sing, because I love music and I wish I could sing. But in any case, I wasn't given that gift, but I know I have other gifts, right? And so for me to live my best life and be able to feel free to do that or whatever, I can't be concerned about where my man is at every 5 minutes, checking on him, looking at his phone, checking to see this, checking to see that. Okay. And then what do they say? The older women, the wise women, what do they always say? I know I heard this from my grandmothers and older women. They say, honey, don't ask the question you're not prepared to get the answer to. Okay, they would say, don't ask. Like, in other words, you're over here trying to figure stuff out by looking in his phone. You might not want to see what's in his phone. And I'm going to tell you, that's how I roll. That's how I roll with every person that I've been with. Every last person that I've been with. So I've had 3 relationships since my husband has passed. And all 3 of them, I have not looked in their phones. I don't want to see what's in their phone. First of all, I might be scared of what's in their phone. And I tell them, I don't want to even see what's in your phone. I mean, I am not the type to hide my phone, right? I'd be like, I don't care. There's nothing in there. There's something in there, whatever, that you don't know about already, right? And so, personally, I don't care about that or whatever. But second of all, I respect privacy, okay? And I respect privacy. And again, I might not want to know what's in the phone. You might be wrestling some sort of issue, demon, whatever, that you got to pray to God about. Porn, whatever, this, that, and the third, okay? You need to pray to God about that. You need to work on that, okay? But it's not for me to find and then scream at you and shame you, make you feel bad or whatever. Because whatever it is, whatever the case is, good or bad, it's going to come out. The truth will always set you free. The truth will always be seen. If you are, you know, chamomile tea in the tea bag, if you're chamomile tea on the inside, but the outside label says green tea, okay, and you make that tea and you drink it thinking you're going to get more energy because it's supposed to be green tea, and you fall asleep, you're going to be like, nah, that wasn't green tea. That's not the truth, right? And so it just comes down to like respecting yourself and loving yourself enough to not try to control people. To know that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You're not out here for everybody. So don't try to control every guy. Just because you're attracted to him or he's attracted to you, don't mean that you guys are a good fit. There could be plenty of things why you're not a good fit. I won't need a smear campaign to tell me. I won't need anybody's mother trying to barge in and give her opinion. Or anybody, ex-wife, person, or whatever, ex-girlfriend or ex-baby mama, whatever, you know, to act like a high schooler to try to tell me this person never, and a smear campaign, to create smear campaigns, right? To me, it's literally showing me that you are literally the textbook definition of a narcissist. That's what I actually see. So it's like when somebody's coming to actually warn you something, right? It's not a smear campaign. A lot of times when it's a true warning, it's not going to look like that. It's going to come from God, and it's going to come with respect. It may come as an answer to a prayer, right? But it won't come looking like that, okay, when you need to seek truth out. Okay, so I think that's all that I wanted to go over, was talk about these smear campaigns that people have, right? That are really coming from them wanting to change the narrative of an event or a person or a thing or whatever, right? That they're wanting to actually try to control what you're thinking, right? Or try to control the outcome of something, okay? Look out for that. Look out for people who participate in smear campaigns, and look out and see if your partner does that. See if your partner does that. If your friend does that. If your boss does that. If a coworker does that. That's a sign to tell you what you're dealing with, so you know how to play that game. Get schooled up. Get schooled up so you know what you're dealing with, okay? All right. Talk with you soon.